It was a crisp autumn evening when Elon Musk arrived at his sprawling Texas estate, tired after a long day of meetings and brainstorming sessions. His mind, as usual, was buzzing with ideas about rockets, renewable energy, and artificial intelligence. The Tesla he drove glided silently up the driveway, its headlights illuminating the manicured lawns and the neatly trimmed hedges that surrounded his futuristic mansion. As he stepped out of the car, he noticed something unusual. The faint sound of voices drifted through the cool night air coming from the direction of his backyard. Frowning, he paused to listen. The estate was supposed to be secure. High-tech cameras, motion sensors, and even a team of security personnel ensured that no one could trespass unnoticed. Yet here were voices, unmistakably young, carrying through the quiet. Curiosity piqued. Elon decided to investigate. Instead of alerting security, he moved quietly toward the backyard. His sneakers crunched softly on the gravel path, and as he got closer, the voices became clearer. They were excited, almost frantic, and distinctly those of children. Carefully he peered around the corner of his house, his sharp eyes scanning the scene. There, on his immaculately kept lawn, were 4 boys, no older than 12 or 13. They were crouched together, their heads bent over something on the ground. Elon couldn't see what they were doing, but their movements were urgent, their whispers filled with determination. For a moment, Elon considered confronting them. After all, they were trespassing on private property. But something about their intensity made him pause. Instead of calling out, he stayed in the shadows, watching silently. The boys seemed to be building something. Elon squinted, trying to make sense of the scattered tools and materials around them. There were soda cans, bits of wire, duct tape, and what looked like parts of an old RC car. One boy held a small flashlight between his teeth as he tinkered with a circuit board, while another scribbled furiously in a battered notebook. The other 2 were assembling what appeared to be a makeshift frame, their faces lit with a mix of concentration and excitement. "What are they doing?" Elon muttered to himself. His curiosity outweighed his initial annoyance. He stepped closer, careful not to startle them. As he approached, he heard snippets of their conversation. "If we can get the motor to spin faster, it might actually lift off." "Yeah, but the battery's too weak. We need more power." "What if we use the capacitor from the remote? It might store enough charge." Elon's breath caught. They weren't just messing around. They were trying to build something ambitious. He took another step forward, and this time the boys noticed him. They froze, their faces going pale as they turned to see the towering figure of Elon Musk standing behind them. For a moment, no one spoke. The boys looked terrified, as if they were expecting to be yelled at or hauled off by security. Elon raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Relax," he said, his voice calm and even. "I'm not mad. I just want to know what you're doing in my backyard." The boys exchanged nervous glances. Finally, the one holding the notebook spoke up, his voice trembling. We're trying to build a drone, sir." "A drone?" Elon repeated, his interest piqued. The boy nodded. "Yeah, we found some videos online about how to make one from scrap parts. We thought it would be cool to try, but we don't have a workshop or tools at home, so we came here." Another boy chimed in, his words tumbling out in a rush. "We know it's your house, Mr. Musk. We just thought, well, you're the smartest inventor in the world. We thought maybe you'd understand." Elon stared at them, his mind racing. These boys had risked sneaking onto his property, not to vandalize or cause trouble, but to chase their dreams of creating something extraordinary. He looked down at their makeshift project, crude, yes, but bursting with potential, and felt a lump rise in his throat. It reminded him of his own childhood, when he had spent hours building model rockets and writing computer code, dreaming of a future that seemed impossibly far away. For a moment he didn't say anything. The boys shifted uncomfortably, clearly expecting the worst. Then, to their surprise, Elon crouched down to their level, his face softening. "Show me what you've got," he said. The boys blinked, unsure if they had heard him correctly. You're not mad?" one of them asked hesitantly. Elon shook his head. "How could I be mad at something like this? You're building, you're experimenting, you're dreaming big. That's exactly what I've spent my life trying to inspire people to do. Now, show me what you've been working on. Slowly, the boys began to explain their project. They showed him the frame they had constructed, the salvaged motor they were trying to repurpose, and the wiring they had painstakingly assembled. Elon listened intently, asking questions and offering suggestions. As the minutes passed, the boys' initial fear gave way to excitement. Here they were, getting advice from Elon Musk himself, a man they had only ever seen in interviews and headlines. After a while, Elon stood up and said, "Wait here." He disappeared into the house, leaving the boys to exchange incredulous looks. When he returned, he was carrying a box filled with tools, batteries and spare parts. "If we're going to do this," he said with a grin, "we're going to do it right." The boys' eyes lit up as Elon joined them on the lawn, helping them refine their design. He showed them how to wire the motor more efficiently, how to balance the frame for stability, and how to optimize the battery's power output. For hours, they worked together under the stars, their laughter and chatter filling the cool night air. As they neared completion, one of the boys hesitated. "Mr. Musk," he said quietly, "why are you helping us? You're a billionaire. You don't have to do this." Elon paused, his expression thoughtful. "Because I see a bit of myself in you," he said. "When I was your age, I was just a kid with big dreams and no idea how to make them happen. If someone had taken the time to guide me back then, maybe I would have reached my goals a little faster. And besides," he smiled, "the world needs more people like you, people who aren't afraid to try, even if they don't have all the answers." The boys nodded, their faces glowing with pride. They worked late into the night, and when the drone was finally ready, they gathered in a circle, holding their breath as one of them flipped the switch. The tiny machine buzzed to life, its propellers spinning furiously. Slowly, it lifted off the ground, hovering unsteadily before stabilizing. Cheers erupted as the boys jumped up and down, their joy infectious. Elon clapped along with them, his face beaming. In that moment, he wasn't the CEO of multiple companies or a billionaire inventor. He was just a man who loved seeing dreams take flight. As the boys prepared to leave, Elon handed them each a small gadget from his workshop. "Keep building," he said. The boys thanked him profusely, their voices overlapping in their excitement. As they disappeared into the night, Elon stood alone in his yard, watching the spot where their drone had flown. A tear rolled down his cheek, not out of sadness, but out of hope. He had spent his life pushing the boundaries of what was possible, but tonight he had been reminded of something even more important: the power of inspiring the next generation. As he turned to go inside, Elon glanced up at the stars, his heart full. Somewhere out there, the future was waiting. And thanks to 4 determined boys with a dream, it was looking a little brighter. He stopped at the doorway for a moment, unable to shake the sense of hope the evening had stirred in him. What if this is what it's all about, he thought to himself. It wasn't just about Mars, electric cars, or AI breakthroughs. It was about passing the torch, inspiring the next generation to dream, to build, to imagine a world better than the one they inherited. Back in the yard, the boys were still marvelling at their creation, now successfully hovering and gliding around the lawn. They tested its controls, laughing and cheering as the drone swooped and soared. Elon walked back to them, holding his phone up. "Mind if I record this?" he asked. "Seriously?" one of the boys gasped. "Seriously," Elon said with a grin. "This is a moment worth remembering." As he filmed, he couldn't help but think about how this moment might ripple outward. Perhaps years from now, one of these boys would stand on a stage, unveiling a groundbreaking invention that changed the world. Perhaps tonight was the start of something far bigger than anyone realized. "You've got something special here," he said, lowering his phone. "Don't ever stop dreaming. And when you're ready for the next project, you know where to find me." The boys nodded eagerly, their faces lit with determination. As Elon finally went inside, he glanced one last time at the stars, smiling to himself. The future was indeed in good hands.